In the richest country in the world, over 40 million people rely on the federal food assistance program, SNAP. That is over 12% of the American population, and they are all Donald Trump's constituents, whether he likes them or not. Which is why I have some serious choice words for the people in Washington who thought it was cute to use food as a political pawn. Let me be clear. Any minute that a hungry child is denied food is unacceptable. It should be priority number one. There are kids in blue cities who are hungry, and there are kids in red rural counties who are hungry. And if their representatives in Congress can't find it in their hearts to care about them, then they don't deserve to be in Congress in the first place. The only way to get a meal in this country shouldn't be to hope you get invited to a state dinner in Trump's brand new, probably ugly ballroom. This is Choice Words. I'm Samantha Bee. My guest this week is the iconic Tony Shalhoub. His new show, Breaking Bread on CNN, is a love letter to how food brings people together, which is what it should be used for, not to tear people apart. And hey, well, funny you mentioned it, but you know what else should bring people together? Menopause. Lucky you. I just added new dates to my How to Survive Menopause tour, so go to samanthab.com to see if I'm coming to your neck of the woods. Until then, take a listen and make good choices. I love your new show, I gotta say. I think that you are, I guess you're living your dream, but you're also living my dream, which is to go around the world eating breads. Really?
I can't believe when I pitched this show that people actually went for it. You know, I was convinced that I'd do these pitches in various networks, and I would walk out of the room and I could imagine their conversations. You know, like, he just wants to go and travel and eat for free. That's basically where, And then, sure enough, CNN took it, and they've been so supportive. They've been so good.
It's so good. I mean, it's like, I feel like I have a lot of, I have 3 kids and a husband. I feel like we have a lot of different dietary stuff going on at any one time. Everybody senses a trend on TikTok or whatever. And then they're like, I'm actually not doing bread for a little while. And I'm like, bread is in the Bible. It's the most essential element of existence. Like bread and water, that's it. And you pretty much, I'm like, communities are built around a place where you bake bread. It's eternal. It's in your soul already. Don't deny it.
It's the OG social media. That's what I think of it as.
It really is. Okay. Well, so I guess the launch point of this podcast is we talk about choice and like choices that you've made that have really resonated with you through the years, or like sometimes you make a decision about something and you have no idea that it's going to affect and impact your whole life. And then it does. Is there something that you, like when you kind of like reflect on the spectrum of is there a decision that you came to in your life where you thought, oh, wow, that changed the game for me. Why did I do that?
Oh, yeah. There have been many of those moments. And I have to say, I'm not even sure that they were decisions in the sense of the conventional sense that we think of a decision as something that is mulled over and, and there's a goal in mind and a plan and you know what I mean? And if I do this, if I do A, B, C, then D, E, F will occur. My decisions, I have to say, my bigger decisions have been kind of more random. And I'm always, I just marvel that, how things kind of fell a certain way based on no knowledge, very little planning. And I've just been, I just think of myself as the most fortunate person. And that's happened. These decisions or these choices, I guess you could say, have occurred a number of times and have been seismic,
Right.
in their shifts.
Right. Well, I feel like not you don't know this about me, but like you have been in the life of my family for such a long time, like for so long. I mean, Big Night was a seminal movie for me and my husband. And when was that even? It was a long, long time ago.
We actually shot that, I think it was 30 years ago.
I mean, that's approximately the amount of time that we've been together. So it probably was like right at the beginning that we saw it and loved it.
It's a
And
good date movie, first date movie, I think. Yeah.
I feel like that is kind of I think we saw that and we saw Waiting for Guffman. And between toggling between those two date nights, we were like, oh, you're my spiritual soulmate.
Yes, classic. I agree. If someone doesn't like Waiting for Guffman, then you have to run in the other direction.
You have to run. You got to go in the other direction. It seems to me like from reading about you and that you and having met you just a tiny bit in the past that food is it's a very organic experience to be doing this show in the food space because food has always been just very important in your life. Can you talk about that a bit? Like how did you know that? Or has it always been such a driving force in your life?
I don't know that it's always been. I mean, I think when I was younger, it was. Then there was a kind of I guess I say that because when I grew up in a very large family, and so we were Lebanese Americans, and so there was a lot of that kind of those kinds of dishes in our early life, in our early lives, but. And so I have very fond memories of those, especially around bread.
Right.
I mean, around many dishes, but bread is just kind of always loomed large, I guess. The way the older aunties used to bake it, the kind of flat Syrian bread, flat bread,
Yeah.
and how it was always, and my father was always into. He gravitated much more to bakery bread as opposed to commercial store-bought bread. And that was before bakery bread. That was long ago before bakery bread was
Right.
a thing in this country. And
Yeah.
but we did have a couple of really nice bakeries in the little town I grew up in, and so I was marveled. This is a man who could just sit down. He just loved it. He could sit down and just polish off a whole loaf of bread. And he wasn't overweight. He was very, he was a big man, but he was in great shape. And he just, and it was the way he did it and what he ate with it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like kind of like raw greens from the farmer's market and, just like washed and knocked on the edge of the table to get the water off and fresh watercress that he picked from his sort of secret stash down by this creek, and he wouldn't tell anybody where it was. And I know, you know what I mean? I just had he had this sort of special relationship with bread. And I think that rubbed off on me and many of us, I guess. And, but then I guess, when you leave home and you went off to school and I got off on my own. Then I think food was just sort of like it became somewhat secondary. I needed it. I wanted it, but I was focused on other things. My academics and acting and all of that, all of those things, and my career, whatever the hell that meant.
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I think when you just circling back to Big Night for a second, because I think that really moved the needle for me. Being around Stanley, because Stanley's always been a foodie. I don't really consider myself a foodie, frankly. I don't. I mean, I've gotten, better at it when, it comes to cooking and so forth. But I don't really, I'm not knowledgeable like he is. And, but when we were doing the movie, because he had me train with a professional chef.
Right.
And then being around him and his parents and watching them prepare this food that we actually then tried to duplicate in the movie. I got a deeper appreciation for
Right.
what goes into it, and that kind of set me off on the path. And then
Right.
ever since, I have much higher interest in cooking cool things, my own stuff.
I have to tell you that we made timpano many times
No
because of no kidding. Like it was like a day-long event,
It
at
is
Christmas time or something. It's a huge endeavor. Very rewarding. Very rewarding. I don't think that cruise ship will be sailing from port anytime soon anymore. But
No. And you don't, that's a special event sort of dish. I mean, that's a once a year at the most, because it's heart attack food. Let's face
it
it.
is. It really is.
I mean, it's delicious, but, in moderation.
I feel like, though, what makes, I know maybe I mean, I don't think it's imperative to define yourself as a foodie, really, but it's like, it feels like I feel a kinship with you. I think when I was younger, like it was just always like fresh food and chickens from the farm, just like down the road. And
Yeah.
as a teenager, I thought it was disgusting. I was like, oh my God, these eggs are so disgusting. There's a feather on the egg. Like, can't we just be normal? Can't we be normal? Can't we just have nice, clean, white eggs that smell minty because they've been washed and scrubbed so hard?
Yes, that's right.
Right. And
They're
like
a perfect little box in a perfect package.
in a perfect package, and like, oh my God, there's like bugs all over these watercress leaves are like, oh, it's so annoying. It's hot. I don't want to pick things. There's bees. And now you reflect, and then somehow that just like infuses your DNA with an appreciation for these things. And then you kind of like go away from it for a while and just live on burritos for 10 years. And
That's
then
right.
you have your own kids, and then you go, hold on a minute. Actually, delicious. A crispy baguette and some fresh cold butter is one of the most elemental pleasures.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the main drivers, when we started to talk about this show and I just felt like, I don't know, we've all seemed to have lost sight of, the basic things, the simpler,
Right.
slower, basic things, because our lives are so, mine anyway, I'm sure yours is, crammed and overscheduled. And, technology was supposed to make things easier. All it's done is, technology was, I thought, I mean, maybe I misread it, but I thought it was supposed to give us more leisure time and more, and the opposite is true, because we're just jamming, because we're able to do more. We just jam more into,
Right.
16-hour day, if you're lucky at 16 hours. And so I feel like we haven't really gained any ground here. If anything, we've created a gap or a distance, right, between
Right.
ourselves and actual humans, and
Right.
and simpler, more basic, important things. So I thought this was a way to, explore that idea.
Yeah. Well, it's speaking bread, and it's like going to places where, and I don't like to, I'm not like idealizing life in other places, but there is a cadence to life in places like Marseille or anywhere in Italy where people actually do really sit down
Yes,
for a
Portugal,
meal.
all these places.
And these are lessons we can like relearn them. I don't know if we ever had that lesson actually perfectly here, but we could go, you can go there and like, oh, everything's closed here. Like the conveniences are not as available because everybody's on lunch, and lunch is like 2.5 hours. It's key to the day.
because
like it.
they've got their priorities, more in line, and you really do get a greater understanding of that when you travel more, and that's certainly I've experienced that in the past, but certainly on this show.
I do like when you travel to most other places that people don't. The one thing I think that is extra good is that you don't typically see people running around and walking while eating.
Oh yeah, and that's in some
That's
places
nice.
that's a big no-no. Yeah, that's
Yes.
considered American or gauche or something. Yeah.
It helps me reflect on my own behavior and then I cool it for a bit. Like it's actually okay to sit and drink a coffee. We don't
Yeah.
always have to be hydrating. We
At every street corner. Yes.
don't have to. Do you find that? Sorry, this is so ageist and this is a very generational gap. Do you find that young people overhydrate? I do.
I do.
Believe
Yeah.
how much they drink.
Well, maybe because they don't have to pee as often. I'm going to just go out on a limb here and
Yes,
say
that's
that.
it. That's
I
it.
think we drink less because we've learned how you know, our systems work. There just isn't enough time in the day to make all those visits.
They'll get there. They'll get there. One day
Yes.
they'll just go, do I need a gallon of water between my car and my gym? How did people survive before?
Yes. Well, we just used to. Lewis Black does a great bit on what happened to water, because we used to just drink water when we were thirsty. We used to drink it out of a hose out in the
Oh my
if you're
God.
outside playing, and I mean, and you were thirsty, you just turned on the hose and put it up to your mouth, or you know what I mean. It wasn't like a bottle of this and a thing of that, and
Yes. Yes. We really crossed the Rubicon when someone said out loud, you know, when you become thirsty, that means it's too late. You've done the I'm like, I feel like isn't that the body's signal? They're like, no, you messed up. Now your body's dying. I'm like, wait a minute.
that's good. I had
might-
not heard that.
I think we might be getting it wrong.
In
it's
that
okay.
case, it's too late for me in so many.
It's too late. I'm a
yeah.
raisin. I'm dehydrated. Have you ever had, okay, let me ask this. Have you ever come across any culture that doesn't really celebrate some type of bread in some way? I'm
No.
struggling to think of one.
No, I don't. I mean, and it's interesting you say that, because one of the locations that we planned for or pitched to CNN was Japan, and
Yeah.
I told people that, and they went for that idea, and I would tell people, it's like, people would say, bread in Japan?
Oh my God, they make delicious bread.
It's a rice culture, and it's so wrong.
Let me ask about Green Bay. Is it like a secret food capital of the world? I feel like there's secret great food in
You know,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Wisconsin's awesome.
I mean-
in so many ways, and actually, Green Bay is really it's moving into that kind of food destination area. It
Yeah.
really is some interesting things going on there. I mean, the state itself has always had the best cheese ever. They sell and make and sell the most cheese from anywhere, and there's great freshwater fish, of course, and all of that. And but right now, yeah, it's there's all kinds of great spots opening up.
Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. You need the right person with the right background who can move your business forward. If I was looking for a candidate that matched exactly what I was looking for, I'd use Indeed sponsored jobs. Let's just say, I don't know, random. Let's just say I was looking to hire a new editor for this show. I would go on Indeed and be super specific about what I was looking for, not just can edit audio. I'd say I need someone who's edited conversational podcasts for at least 3 years, who kind of gets our style and knows the software we use. Someone like a cool person, someone who's done this before. And here is the thing with Indeed sponsored jobs, I'd get people who fit that description. I'm not digging through resumes from people who've edited one YouTube video. I'm getting actual podcast editors who know what they're doing. People who've worked on shows like ours and can prove it. That is what makes the difference. With Indeed sponsored jobs, you get people with the exact qualifications that you're looking for. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs because you reach a bigger pool of quality candidates. Join the 1.6 million companies that sponsor their jobs with Indeed. Plus, with Indeed sponsored jobs, you only pay for results. No monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, just a boost whenever you need to find quality talent fast. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes, less stress, less time, more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/SamB. Just go to Indeed.com/SamB right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/SamB. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed. Sorry, I want to circle back to Japan and the delicious breads of Japan because I think that the bread is phenomenal. It's what that milk bread is one of my favorite breads, like of all time. Just like
Very
hands,
special.
so special. So was that what you were thinking when you suggested Japan as a destination for the show?
Well, I was just really curious about it because someone had told me that this is a, offhand conversation. Someone said, they're making where they're making the best French bread in the world is in Tokyo. I'm like, wow, who knew that? And I thought there's got to be some massive movement there. And so, and I also happen to have a nephew that lives there. He's a teacher there, and it's always been kind of on my bucket list, Tokyo, and it did not disappoint. The bread was out. The food in general is outstanding, but they're doing phenomenal things with bread there.
And I don't know that this is true, and I don't even know really where I heard this, and I've never been to Japan, and I'm dying to go. Like it's right up there, probably within the next couple of years that we'll just go for like a month and just eat our faces off. So like that's our family hobby. But what I have heard about it is that because there's such a deep food culture that they're like, well, why don't we make all these other things that are so famous and popular in other countries, but we'll just make it the very best. We'll just make the best possible version and introduce it to Tokyo as the ultimate version of baguette, and it works.
That's part of their culture. That's one of the things that we learned when we were there. This thing they call it kaizen, and it's this attempt to elevate and perfect. It could be anything. It doesn't have to do just with food. It could be architecture or textiles, crafts,
right?
Whatever the pursuit is, they take from other countries and they as a base model, and then they just bougie it up and elevate it and make it something completely their own. It's really flying, and the food is next level.
Oh my God! Did you take cues from Stanley Tucci when you were pulling this show together? Did he take you under his wing and say, "Friend"?
He didn't really have to because I just whatever Stanley does, I just do that. I just watch what he's doing. And then I just copy that. And it's worked really well for me over the years.
I think that's really smart. I think that's a smart way to do it. I copy a lot of my friends. I copy their laughs. I learned from I learned from like their kids going to college, which colleges my kids should apply to. This is
There
very
you go.
important. This is peer-to-peer learning. There's so many people come on this show and say to me that they're terrible at ordering off of menus. Like, this show's about choice, and people are often come on this show and they're like, I don't even, like, I'm good at like big picture things like career decisions, but I'm hopeless like when you put a menu in front of me. Can you imagine? Or are you also hopeless? Are you overwhelmed by choice when you look at a menu?
Not when it comes to menus. I have this thing about I don't understand, and I see that a lot in people like, oh, should I have this? And
Right.
I order the wrong thing, and I have this thing. I don't know what it is. It has to do with my mood or my frame of mind. At the second I look at the menu, I'm a moody foodie. It's like I sort of scan the list, and then something deep inside me just highlights. It's like literally highlights the thing I want. I don't, you know what I mean? So it's like
Yes.
it almost eliminates every other choice. I don't know what it is.
I
And
know
then
exactly
I
what you
order
mean.
that thing.
Yeah.
When I order it and it comes, it's like, yep, that's exactly what I wanted. But it isn't really like an intellectual thing. It's more of
Yes.
like my antenna are, I don't know. I guess I'm obsessed with. I'm connected to food and my own appetite, maybe.
Right. I think that's great. When I was a little kid and my mom and I would go like pumpkin hunting, like pumpkin picking, for Halloween,
Oh yeah.
she would just come to literally go to the pumpkin patch and be like, one of these pumpkins is going to speak to me. One of these pumpkins is going to talk to me today. And then
Was
she would just
was she
walk.
sedated at the time, or
Yeah, she was, but she would literally just walk through the pumpkin patch with such an open heart. And then she'd be like, it's this one. And it would just be the
that's what
worst one. But yeah, I think that's the best menu approach. Just like, all right, what are we doing? What are we doing here today?
I'm open up. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to. It's gonna tell me.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna listen.
outstretched arms. I didn't expect that I would want a half of a roasted cauliflower today with tahini, but I do. I don't know. Hey, man,
Right.
it's fine.
You gotta listen to the menu.
You got to listen to the menu. It's gonna speak. It's gonna talk to you. If you let it in, you can't force yourself on it.
No. The menu. I've come to learn. The menu decides. It really does.
Yes, the menu chooses you.
That'll be my next book. The menu decides.
The menu decides. It's actually, take it. That's actually a great name. That's a great title for a cookbook. It's yours. I take no ownership of it. You said it. You said it. I read your Grub Street because I always read Grub Street. Like, you do so much press. You've done so much. Do you even remember the things that you're like, I did a Grub Street once and I loved it so much. It was probably my favorite assignment ever.
I don't remember a lot of the press I do, but I do remember Grub Street because it reminded me. It was like a homework assignment,
Yes.
which I haven't had in a long time, thankfully. But this one was like, because I kept writing things down. I didn't realize I wasn't supposed to write like amounts down. And my publisher's like, you don't have to put 4 ounces. It just
7 almonds.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing like, I ate a third of this, and then I had 2 ounces of this sprinkled on that. Mm-hmm. I went overboard, but I did enjoy it. It made me kind of reassess like what it is I'm putting in my body, especially during the snacking periods.
Right. Well, like as a Grub Street connoisseur, because I love reading how people eat. It's kind of like I don't know, for me as a Canadian, that's how I learned the culture of the United States. Like I read a lot of food writing, and so it continues. I love Grub Street. It's my favorite.
Yes.
And they're not all good. Some of them, like if a person's not really into food, they should never say yes to it.
Why?
Because
What do those look like? They're just sort of mundane, like,
they just don't eat enough to justify talking about what they eat. Like if they're like, if it's like, I don't really eat breakfast. And then around 2 o'clock, I'll have a handful of almonds and a grapefruit with cayenne. I'm like, this is a prison. This is not what I'm not here for this.
no.
I'm here to have Tony Shalhoub's granola bowl. That's what I want. I want to know that you put maple syrup in your coffee, which I also do, and I use honey. Mostly I
You
use
do
honey.
too?
I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do honey sometimes. Yeah, but
Yeah. Either. I'll toggle. I do maple syrup or I do honey. It's the best. I don't understand why more people don't do it.
I don't know.
First of all, it's delicious. B, it's sugar. It's like gives you the sugar that you need. And I think it mellows out the hard edges of the coffee. It makes it so nice.
Yeah, especially if a little bit it settles on the bottom, and then the last sip of the cup is like just a little like drops of maple. Oh my, I love
Just
that.
a little maple. How could you
Like a little
go?
reward. Yeah.
God, I've got
But
to.
you were saying earlier about, people saying, I don't really eat breakfast. That's a non-starter for me. I don't know what to even, the conversation just crashes to a halt.
Crashes.
Someone says, I don't eat breakfast. Well, like, what? Well, how can you not eat breakfast? I don't get it.
I don't get it. Can I? I'm just with you 100%. I'm like, I don't know that I can know. I don't know that I can know you. What are you like? I'm not like, I don't think I'm a hedonist, but I have to have breakfast and it has to be delicious. What are we doing here? What are we on earth for?
I mean, that's like for me, that's a reward for, getting through the night and waking up, waking up
Yes.
and, like having to pull your, brain together. And then okay, you got up and you actually threw some water on your face and you whatever, brush your
Sure.
teeth. It's like, hey, you know what? You deserve this and a coffee and some nice this and some scrambled egg. You know what I mean?
Don't you want to greet the day? Don't you want to have energy to deal with people on the subway?
Yes. And also, here's a question. What else are you doing? What else are you doing with your eyes half open? I mean, really? What else do you got to do? I don't know.
I'm with you so hardcore on this. I'm like, it doesn't make. I don't maybe I learned it from Sesame Street, but I'm like, you've got to eat. You've got to goddamn put some food in your tummy. Why are
Yes.
we wandering? Why I don't, and you know what else? I'll say it. I don't want to interact with a hungry person.
No.
This is your Christian duty for other people is to
Right.
put some nutrition in you so you can be a civil person.
It's civilized. That's right.
It seems to me like sorry, I'm just reading. I'm not reading it. I'm saying your Grub Street back to you because I forensically studied it. You seem to eat fruit every morning, start the day with a little fruit, maybe take a pause, maybe come back, a little granola or some toast, some eggs. These are all great choices. Is this a lifetime? Do you always come back to this? Is this your formula?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, fruit is, I always start with fruit. I don't know. I think I'm a little embarrassed to admit this because I'm not really exactly sure that the science is sound. It might be unsound, but I read a long time ago that, it was, remember the days of food combining? Remember that?
Yes.
Food combining?
Yes.
That was a trend for a while. It's like, oh, you're not supposed to eat starch and protein together.
right.
You're not supposed to, because these foods you don't interact well in your digestive tract, blah blah, and then a lot of that. I did that for like a minute, and then
Sure.
one of the things that came out of that I stayed with was, which the other shit really didn't make that much sense to me, but the part that made sense was you shouldn't eat fruit on top of other foods. Like, in other words, that whole thing of eating a big meal and then
having some fruit.
that's, for me, that's no. That's a no.
Oh.
Okay, so, and the thing about I think the one thing that food combining may have gotten right, at least for the way my system works,
Yeah.
is when the idea or the myth, if you will, was that when you eat fruit, if your stomach is empty, then that fruit goes to digest in the lower part of your digestion. It goes like right into your intestines, and that's where it all breaks down, right? But other foods like starches and proteins, I'm misremembering this, but this is something like that takes a longer time in your stomach for your stomach to process, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you're eating fruit on top of that, then that's getting hung up in there, and that's creating gases and whatever else. It like putrefies in there, and creates problems. So I eat fruit in the morning because, okay, I hope this is not inappropriate for your podcast. But
Everything's appropriate. I like
it's
it.
better. It helps me. It's elimination. It's about getting things moving.
Get it moving. So you're getting like the fiber, the full fruit fiber in there. And I think like also maybe like kind of blooming your intestines, like in a way, you're just kind of opening it up. You're not giving them something that's too hard to deal with. You're just like, good morning. Hey, get it in motion.
Yeah, exactly. More water soluble and all of that.
Yes.
I am not obviously a scientist or a nutritionist, so
No, but it makes total sense. And it's also like the food combining, or like the cadence of the food or whatever, is really personal too. Like
totally.
it's different for everybody's body, and it's nice to be in tune enough with it that you can go, okay, like I know I can't have dessert in the evening anymore. I cannot have dessert in the evening at all anymore, ever.
A hangover.
I get a hangover from it. It's sad, but then I eat my dessert at lunch, which is not sad. That's happy.
That's good.
We're still having desserts. We're still doing it.
Yeah,
It
you
just has
shouldn't
to be.
give it up.
Oh, I'm not going to give it up. I like dessert too much.
And if you put enough maple syrup in your coffee, that's kind of like dessert in the morning.
I switched my breakfast routine, and I mean, like, we were talking, I'm 56, so we were talking about like 55.9 years of living, and I just got a new breakfast that I'm very into, and I'm evangelizing about it immensely.
Oh, you tell.
Okay, I will. You can tell that I want to. It's a recipe. Listen, it's a recipe. It was in the New York Times. I'm not going to take ownership of this. And I was like, that sounds good. It's basically oatmeal with dates. I love dates so much.
Ooh, I love dates.
All right. Check it out.
I love oatmeal, but I put everything else in the world into oatmeal, but I haven't thought of dates. That's excellent.
The key is that you take a little bit of butter and you put it in the bottom of the pan. You brown it a little bit. You put in a couple of dates. You caramelize the dates. Then you put water into the whole mess and you let it boil for a bit. And then you mash the dates to smithereens, to a pulp. So it's like liquid. You liquefy them essentially. And then you cook the oatmeal in that sludge with milk.
No.
It is, and then you sprinkle it with sea salt and blueberries or whatever you want. You sprinkle it with sea salt after, and it is...
Oh, my God.
It's the best breakfast I have ever had, and I have it every day like it's my job.
All right. It's a date. Listen, I have to write that down. That is
Yes,
genius.
it's genius.
So you actually don't make the oatmeal separate.
No.
You make it,
In the slurry, you've made the dates so you've liquefied them so effectively that it's just like a little brown, and it's totally customizable to how many dates you want. I use 2 big like medjool dates. They're great.
yeah.
And then you cook the oats in the oatmeal slurry with milk, with like whole milk, and you make this beautiful, sweet, sugar-free porridge with it has breathed new life into my breakfast, which I already love. It's my favorite meal of the day, 100%.
Me too. Totally.
And now I'll make sure you have it, but it is in the New York Times cooking app by this great young chef, and I'm missing her name is not coming to me right now, but she has a great new cookbook too. She's great, and it's so smart. Changed my life.
All right. That's next on my, I got to do it. I got to find it.
Gotta do it. You know what? I loved. Also, let's go back to the show because I do want to talk about the Marseille episode, which was not only just a great episode about food, but also like tracks your dad's immigration journey through Marseille. It's really emotional, and your daughter's there.
Yes, that was so great. And my
It's
other daughter, my
great.
younger daughter, is there with me in the Iceland episode, as is Brooke.
Great.
But Marseille was a real trip because I had never been there. I had been to France and many times in Paris. We love Paris, but I'd been to the south of France a few times too. But for some reason, never. I think Marseille has always had kind of a bad. In the past, it's had a bit of a bad reputation. You know,
Right.
like oh, it's not Paris. It's very gritty. It's a little dangerous. It's a little sketchy. We didn't find that at all. I think it's
Right.
in the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years even. It's totally transformed, and it's it's definitely a city in transition. You know, moving from one thing to another thing, but God, it's glorious. It's beautiful and exquisite. Beautiful streets, not
Yeah.
like Paris. I mean, I love Paris, but it's different. It's more, I don't know. It's just more kind of Mediterranean. It's
Right.
it has that kind of vibe.
Right.
But the my father, as did almost all immigrants who were coming from anywhere in the Middle East or in other points in Europe, had to all stop in Marseille. That's where it was kind of like a processing
Right.
place
Right. Right.
before they could move on to wherever their destination was. And then what happened was some immigrants just decided to stay there. They just
Right.
ended their trip there because I guess they needed labor and there were resources there and it was beautiful or maybe they ran out of money or they didn't want to travel anymore, whatever the reason. And consequently it became a real melting pot.
Right. And you feel the presence of all the food cultures kind of coming. That's like such a rich kind of global food culture there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would definitely go back. And another beautiful thing about Marseille is that, I had a day off in the middle of shooting,
Yeah.
and my wife and daughter were there, and we just rented a car, and in an hour and a half, we were up in Aix-en-Provence, and we were in,
Right.
wine country. And it's right. It's not that far from Marseille.
It's
just a hop and
so
a skip. And then you're in this completely enchanted place. Can't go wrong in France, really.
can't go wrong. That whole strip of coastline offers like to just rent a car and drive from one end to the other and just like make your way into Italy or whatever you want. It's such an incredible incredible voyage. And just like stay in little towns along the way or whatever. It's so worth it.
Sweet. It's very sweet. And then
It's
and you notice too when you're down in Marseille, I hate to keep going back to the bread thing, but it's very diverse.
right.
It's not like, well, just what we think of as, conventional Parisian, I mean, we did
Right.
eat a baguette, of course, but
Sure, of course.
there's a lot of other things happening there.
What did your daughter plays this amazing recording in that episode where your dad is talking about remembering the bread in France? Did you know that recording existed?
I knew it because I was there when we recorded it. I can't even tell you how many years ago that was, many, many. But I hadn't heard it really since that. I knew people had saved it and
Right.
like transferred it over to like a CD or whatever. But I hadn't really heard it, and I didn't really remember a lot of the details of it.
Right.
But the fact that she was, got that, and that there was that perfect piece just about Marseille, was really, and just hearing his voice again.
It's
I mean,
it's so special.
my father, been gone for, like, I don't know, 34 years or something. And,
Right.
and, so really, really not just hearing his voice, but hearing that sort of energy and spark
Yes.
in it, was quite beautiful.
Really beautiful.
And being in the place where he was as a boy, just en route to Ellis Island.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just the gateway. The gate right at the gates.
Yeah.
Okay, this is going to be it. We've talked for a long time. My mouth is I'm so hungry now. I can't even tell you. So here's the most controversial question ever asked about bread. Should bread service at all restaurants be free? Should we be charging for a bread basket?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say in general, I would say no. But then again, there are restaurants, and I'm speaking about New York and specifically, where the bread baskets are so unbelievably good. And then I felt like, you know what? It's a lot of work went into this, a lot of, it's worth it. It's worth it
Yes.
I mean, how much are they going to charge? I don't know, $12, $15, whatever it is,
I
20.
feel like there's like a middle ground compromise. Like if the restaurant's already making focaccia and we're having focaccia,
Yeah.
it's like a little treat. But
Yeah.
if we're making like several breads and
Yeah.
we're doing,
That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like a really, varied, diverse basket
Yes.
of, oh my God, this is and that somebody had to, get that certain kind of flour, that certain kind
Yes.
of seed or nut or whatever the hell to that goes in that. And then, and if they're serving all that with like really good olive oil or really good Bougie butter,
yes.
for me, that's worth it. I guess.
I love a bougie butter. I put all my energy now. I don't really shop for other stuff anymore. I just put it all into like butter. I'm like, I'll get more out of it. it's just a better, it feels, let's do our shopping for good quality foods and make it better for everyone. I don't know. Yeah. I've just enjoyed talking to you so much, and I really enjoy the show. I think it's great. It really is like America's just one great big Thanksgiving table now. Breaking bread is like literally what we actually need.
Yeah, I think it's right now. It feels like the right kind of, it's a minor antidote, but it does. It's just so much. There's so much heaviness and
There
weirdness
is.
going on that I feel like this is a nice respite from that.
Season 2 should be in Smell-O-Vision. That's my contribution to your show. I need a scratch and sniff.
Yeah.
Thank you so, so much.
Thanks, Sam. Appreciate it.
That was Tony Shalhoub, and I had no choice but to look up one thing. We were talking about the amazing Japanese milk bread, and I had to know when it entered Japanese culture, and most people attribute it to post-World War II Japan. It is so delicious. I'm gonna put my head on a loaf tonight and go to sleep. Thanks for joining us. I'm Samantha Bee, and we will see you next week for some more Choice Words. Thank you for listening to Choice Words, which was created by and is hosted by me, Samantha Bee. The show is produced by Svea Baron-Reinstein with editing and additional producing by Ryan Connor. We're distributed by Lemonada Media, and you can find me at Real Sam B on Instagram. Follow Choice Words wherever you get your podcasts or listen ad-free on Amazon Music with your Prime membership.